Hello, welcome to everyone. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable. It's a show about ham radio or amateur radio. We welcome you tonight. We're glad you're with us, and would like to hear from you, especially if you're listening out there on shortwave tonight on WBCQ, world famous international shortwave on 7490. We'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email to Tom at w5kub.com, Tom at w5kub.com. We'd really like to hear from you. Let us know where you are and tell us how you're hearing the station. Let's see, a couple housekeeping things here real quick. I need everybody to do me a favor. There you go, right there. Hit the subscribe button. We put a little subscribe button down there at the bottom right of your screen. If you would, please hit that subscribe button. It really helps us out. It helps YouTube to advertise our channel. And actually, believe it or not, about 30% or more people that watch the show live find us just because they were surfing YouTube and our channel popped up on that little thumbnail over on the right side as similar, you know. So please hit that subscribe button. We'd love to have you as a subscriber. Hit the notify button. Sometimes we come on during the week with something special, a special broadcast, and if you hit that subscribe button, it'll notify you whenever we come on live. And we do post videos. I posted 2 new videos up on our channel today. We'll talk a little about them tonight. I'd love to have you join our Facebook group. We have a great ham radio Facebook group. And we've got over 12,000 members in that group today, and it's basically under the name of the show, Amateur Radio Roundtable. That's quite a bit to type in. So if you'll just type in W5KUB in the Facebook search box, you'll come up with our ham group, and we'll be glad to get you in here and be a member of it. So. Join our Facebook, W5KUB on Facebook. We'd love to have you. Okay. Let's jump out and see who's with us tonight. Oh, let me just say, Alan is driving tonight. He went to see his mom tonight, so he may or may not be back in time for the show. But we have a few of our regulars on here tonight, and let's just go out and say hello to them there. Hey, I see Rich on here from CQ first. Rich, how you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks. Except we're in the deep freeze here in New Jersey right now. Maybe the end of March, but the weather has not seemed that way. The lows have been down in the low 20s. And it has not been friendly to all the plants that are starting to come up for the spring. But it's supposed to warm up as the week goes on, so hopefully a bunch of them will have made it through.
Well, we're going to send you some more weather here tomorrow or the next day. You'll be getting that pretty soon there. Well, hey, we're glad to have you tonight, and we're looking forward to hearing about CQ and what you've got to tell us there. Glenn,
got some good news for you.
What? So. Okay. Well, you want to do that when we? We'll do that when we start your segment. Glenn, how you doing tonight down in Mississippi? Come in, Glenn. Earth to Glenn. I'm not hearing Glenn. What's
this mute
on?
Thing? Never do get that figured out.
There he is, right there. What's the shirt say? I describe. I thought it might have something to do with why you couldn't get on tonight.
Yeah. If I had to describe myself in one word, does not follow instructions well. I ignored the mute button.
All right. Well, hey, man, look. Hey, you know what? You know what we need to do? We need to rename this show every Tuesday night to Severe Weather.
Button.
Huh?
We rename it to the mute button.
No, we need to rename this show every Tuesday night to the Severe Weather channel.
No kidding.
Because it seems like every week we have big weather patterns that are about to hit here. And guys, and Glenn, you can tell us about your area here. Glenn's probably 20 miles south of me. He's not very far. But, you know, the prediction tomorrow is very is I think it's very, very severe weather. I don't know what two varies in front means, but it's probably going to be tough. And they're estimating or predicting winds of 60 miles an hour. That's 60 miles per hour tomorrow. So I went outside today. I kind of battened down some of the hatches. So what are you expecting down here, Glenn?
Oh, pretty much the same. Actually, I'm about 20 miles south or west southwest of you.
Yeah.
Almost due west.
Okay.
Just across the state line. Matter of fact, I can stand on my roof and probably see Graceland if I could see through the trees.
All right.
It's supposed to get nasty. Fortunately, I don't have to drive into work tomorrow. I definitely am glad I'm not on the roads. Hopefully the ice storm took down everything that was loose and ready to fall. Otherwise, it could get nasty. But this is the time of year that happens, and winter's been running really late for us. And then, it was up to 75 degrees today when I left work. So it's just all the fixings to make it nasty tomorrow.
Yeah, well, now, are you going to work from home tomorrow?
Yeah, I
Okay.
work from home tomorrow.
All right.
And
just remember, when those big trees start coming down and get in the hallway, you got your best support.
I'll be in the bathtub with the monsters.
Okay. All right. Just want you to be safe down there, man. Just be safe.
One good thing is that all of the parts have finally gotten in. Well, I can't say all of the parts, but I had a load of parts come in today, so I can get back on building the projects for the next book. And we're going to start cranking those out here, this week. I've already got several half built, and the chapters are all organized and planned, so we're about starting to get on that thing real soon.
Yeah, well, speaking of parts came in, I ordered, we found a super duper pretty inexpensive balloon that flies high. We've been looking for years for it, and it's been proven the last few flights between our flight and a friend's flight out of Sweden that this balloon really does a great job. So they're kind of hard to find, but once you find them, you can get them. But so I went straight to the manufacturer in Japan, Yokohama. I don't know which one, but I went straight to them and placed an order for 10 balloons, and they're pretty steep on postage. They charged $100 to ship them from Japan, but you know what? They sent me a note. They were going to ship them 4 days ago, and after 4 days, suckers were in my house from Japan.
Wow.
I mean, that is, I thought this supply chain deal was going to slow them down. I was expecting 3 weeks, 4 weeks, but they sent them UPS, and they were here in 4 days, man. And
that's amazing.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll talk a little about that a little later tonight. So hey, tonight we got several things. We're going to talk about CQ and some interesting things that Rich wants to talk about. I'll mention our W5KB 108. It went down near Mexico, almost completing 2 laps around the world. We won't talk much about it. We've already got W5KB 110 in the air. We'll talk a little about that tonight. The little buck boost power supply, I've got a little video put together on that, so we'll be seeing that tonight, and some other things. And we will also open Zoom up for anybody out there, and so they can join us here. And I want to welcome everybody in the chat room there. And I'm glad that John made it from Russellville, Arkansas. He's got a net going over in Russellville, Arkansas, but he managed to log in, and maybe we got a little priority tonight over the net. So that's good. John, stick in there with us, man. I want to see you on Zoom tonight, and I want to see, John, if you shaved off your beard. I'm looking for you tonight, John. So let's go ahead and jump over to Rich. And let's talk about CQ. Rich, come on in here. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing great, and I'm very pleased to have some good news for our print subscribers in particular, that we are finally being able to get back to publishing our print edition after several very long months of digital only. The April issue will be mark our return to print, and it'll be out probably about the middle of the month, because we got started on it relatively late into the cycle, and the additional stuff that we need to do to get that going may delay the digital edition by a couple of days, but it'll be there. So we're very excited about that and have every intention of staying in print for a long, long time. And we're very pleased that we're finally able to do that.
Do you want me to go ahead and put this link up for you?
Yes, thank you for reminding me about that. We have, I just want to point out, I think I've mentioned this before, but we're extending all print subscriptions by the number of missed issues, which is 7, unfortunately, September through March. And so everybody will get the number of issues that they've signed up for. But in addition, we have the digital editions of those issues available for download from the link that Tom is putting up in the chat room or on the screen. I'm not sure which. But you can go there and download any of the editions from September through March, and there's no additional charge for that. So we hope that you will fill in the blanks in your collection with the digital edition of those issues. There's really good stuff in them. So thank you for that reminder, Tom.
Yeah.
And we will should also be getting our calendars out very, very soon. And you'll still get 12 full months out of them because they run through March. So you'll still get 12 months
that's good.
out of the calendars. In our April issue, we've got a couple of main focuses here. I don't know if everyone is plugged into this or not. There's been quite a bit of controversy in the contest community about the position that we have taken regarding stations in Russia and Belarus in our contests due to the invasion of Ukraine. We basically feel that it's kind of a moral imperative to do something, that silence is complicity, and that we're not willing to sit by silently. Basically, for our contest, starting last weekend with the WPX single sideband contest, stations in Russia and Belarus and the Donbass region of Ukraine, which is a separatist area, they're welcome to enter the contest, but they will not be able to submit competitive logs. They would only be put in as check logs. And in addition, contacts by other stations with those stations would not count for contest credit. We got a lot of feedback on that, both negative and positive. And a lot of the negative comments feel that we're in some way violating the spirit of amateur radio and getting involved in politics, which ham radio traditionally has not been involved in. Our feeling is that this is not politics. This is one country invading another country without provocation. This is what the U.S. State Department is calling war crimes. It's not okay. And it's very reminiscent of the actions of Nazi Germany leading up to World War II. I did some reading up on those early days in the 30s. And basically, Vladimir Putin is taking pages directly out of Adolf Hitler's plan. The trying to encourage separatist movements, creating false flags to justify military action, even going back to the 2014 annexation of Crimea, which the West didn't really respond to very strongly. This all is reminiscent of the early days before World War II, when Germany annexed the Rhineland from France without any response at all, and then the Sudetenland. And basically, the West was following this policy called appeasement and hoping that they would be happy with taking over just, a few small pieces of territory and a few small countries. And there was no significant response until Germany invaded Poland. And that was the beginning of World War II. And we certainly hope that we're not going to see Russia invade Poland and have that be the start of World War III. And it's just eerily similar to what happened in the 1930s. And the response of the West has been much stronger this time, but it includes not only governments, it includes private companies and sports federations. And we're kind of a sports federation in terms of contests, because this is radio sport. And we're following the positions taken by many of the international sports federations on limiting the participation of competitors from Russia and Belarus, to drive home the message that no, this is not okay, this is not business as usual. And we understand that the people who would likely be in the contest have no real influence over their government policies. But we cannot sit by silently. And as I'm saying in my editorial this month, if we've inconvenienced you through this policy, we're sorry, but nobody is bombing your houses or shooting missiles at your hospitals. And this is life and death in Ukraine, and we just cannot stand by and pretend that everything is normal. So I talk about that in my editorial. We also have a feature with the specific policy that we laid out, and quite a bit of a sampling of responses, both negative and positive, in the issue. And we follow that with our emergency communications column on what we're calling a different kind of MCOM, collected reports of how hams in Europe are helping the refugees, particularly hams in Poland, providing assistance. Romanian hams have been placed on alert in case anything happens there. So there's a lot of amateur radio activity related to this. So that's one big chunk of the April issue. The biggest chunk, as always in April, is the results of the CQ Worldwide DX single sideband contest, which had, again, a record number participation level in last October. And we have a great report there. We have two new categories in the contest, the youth category and the explorer category. Explorer category is trying new and different approaches to setting up your station, to organizing your station, and lots of flexibility there on how you enter. And the youth category is for contesters under age 25, and we had a really good response, and there's a whole special section in the report on the contest results from the youth operators. So that's really something to look forward to. And of course, since this is April, we have our annual visit from Professor Heiseluft. And I'm not going to tell you too much about what the good professor is talking about this time, except that it involves spectrum rage. So keep that in mind.
I have to check that out.
That sounds pretty good.
It always is. Yeah. Among our other columns beyond emergency communications, our kit building column by K0NEB is titled 4 Times the Fun. And Joe takes a look at the Pentec TR2035 4-band CW transceiver kit very nicely packaged kit with everything you need to do in each step in its own bag. Let's see if I can hold this up in front of the camera here to this is the setup.
Oh, yeah.
So everything is in a bag there. So you just, as you go to each step in the project, you use what's in the next bag. And all the parts you need for that part of the project are there. And you may notice that all of the toroids are pre-wound. So that takes
That's
a lot
great.
of the work.
Well, that takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think, I've always found winding toroids to be really cool because you can't make your own resistors. You can't make your own capacitors, but you can make your own coils. And that is just
I enjoy doing that.
Creating your own component.
Now, that sounds like a challenge. I think we can make our own resistors and capacitors. I think we can.
Oh, here we go.
But we'll pass on that for right now. Maybe in a later show, we'll do this.
What are we going to use? Branches off of trees for resistors now?
No, we're going to use pencil lead.
Oh, there you go.
We'll use pencil lead and some other things, and we'll use
We'll
use tinfoil. We'll use tinfoil. We'll use tinfoil and tinfoil and wax paper.
Once you do that, will you be able to put them on a little PC board? Like you can with the coils that you make yourself?
May be
put them on a breadboard.
It may be a little messy. I think you missed our show 2 weeks ago where we did a potato powered transmitter where we actually had 6 potatoes out there all in series parallel, and we proved that our potatoes could power a transmitter. So that was.
We've got an article coming up in a future issue about that.
Okay. All right. We'll have to look at it.
That should be fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see what else. We've got two columns on Winter Field Day this month. April is springtime, but I'll tell you, it's winter here these last couple of days. So both our Learning Curve column and QRP column are different takes on Winter Field Day. Ron in Learning Curve talks about it more generally, and Scott in QRP takes a QRPer's approach to Winter Field Day. So 2 really good pieces right there. In our Analog Adventures column this month, Eric Nichols, KL7AJ, does the he calls it the Ritty Ditty, and it's a look back at the Teletype Model 28 teleprinter, which anybody who's been around a long time and been into radio teletype will remember the Model 28.
And I just have to,
loud clanking and clunking and all.
I just have to say this again, Rich. I was in the Air Force, and I was a teletype repairman. I went to school for 1 year to learn how to repair the Model 28s. So hey, I'm looking forward to.
I did the Model 35s.
Yeah, and the 35s. It's just got 3 more pieces on everything,
I made use of I don't know if it was the 28, but certainly the teleprinters in my early days in radio news in the wire service machines were very loud, clunky teletype teleprinters, and no keyboards on them, of course, because we were only on the receive end. But then I worked for the Associated Press, where you did have the keyboard, but by the time I was there, we were using computers. But it's a lot of. I remember in a college radio club, we had a Model 28 in there, so that was a lot of fun. Back to the issue. Speaking of springtime, Trent N4DTF and VHF Plus writes about springtime on 6, and a great trans-equatorial propagation opening in just a couple weeks ago, March 14th, between the southeastern U.S. and Central South America. Really fantastic opening. So that's really cool, and looking forward to more good VHF activity as the spring moves towards summer. and we get sporadic E, and who knows? This sunspot cycle is kind of working its way up to being a little stronger than the official predictions have been predicting. And so we may end up with some F2 on 6 meters, which would be fantastic.
Hey, Rich, today I've been looking the last couple of days. I've been in some of the Facebook groups, and guys talking about 12 meters. He said it is hotter than a firecracker. He worked like 109 countries today on 12 meters. And it's been like that for the last couple of days. I was going to come back here and turn the radio on and listen. I mean, I'm talking about some really good countries here, too. Wow.
That's fantastic.
Hey, Rich, real quick.
Yeah.
How long is that link going to be up for the back issues?
I really don't know. I'm not aware of immediate plans to take it down at a particular point in time. But so I don't know for sure, but probably it would be a good idea if you want to download those issues to do it fairly soon.
Yeah, but that was a question.
It won't be there forever.
Room. I've already got them, but that was a question in the chat room. But as soon as you put up the link, I went and grabbed them real quick, so I've got reading material at work.
Short answer is I'm not sure. It'll be there for a while, but probably not forever. So you should go download them and then read them at your leisure. Yeah, just to wrap up. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. To wrap up the highlights of April here, awards editor KI4KWR is writing about some very cool DX awards from Ecuador, which are not really difficult to earn. So you should definitely look into that. The one of them is the Galapagos Islands Award, and I think you only need one confirmed contact for the station, an HC8 station in the Galapagos. So that shouldn't be too difficult to earn. Because if you do any amount of DXing or contesting, there's a pretty good level of activity from HC8. So it shouldn't be too difficult to earn that. And there are others that aren't that hard to do either. And they're very nice looking certificates. In our DX column, we go back to the young people with the winners of the second annual Intrepid DX Group's Youth Dream Rig essay contest. And we've got first place winner was, he's 10 or 11 years old. I guess he's 11 now. The question was, how can amateur radio evolve to remain relevant in the age of the internet? And his conclusion is it will remain relevant because first, it inspires and creates community. Second, it can help those in danger, emergency, or conflict. And finally, it is fun. And that about says it all. That's why he won first place. And we've got the second place winner is KD2UYX, and the third place winner is K6IAS. So they're very good, excellent writers for their age in particular. And last item on my list now is our contesting column, which takes a 2-year look back at the impact of COVID on contesting. It has one of the very few good things that has come out of this pandemic is the impact on contesting, because with all those lockdowns, people were at home and had nothing better to do with their time than get on the radio. And we've had, really big numbers in all the contests, not only the CQ contest, but ARRL contests as well, and some other major contests. But, the interesting thing is, as I mentioned earlier, the CQ Worldwide DX contest, that was last October when the restrictions were largely being lifted on on travel and on multi-op stations, and still had a record number of logs submitted. So a lot of the people who may have come into contesting for the first time over the last 2 years because they didn't have anything else to do and thought they'd give it a shot, discovered that they really, really have fun with it and are going to continue to get involved and get on the air with them. So that is a quick look at some of the highlights of our April issue. Again, the digital edition should be out next week, a couple days late possibly, and thankfully, the print edition in a couple of weeks, as soon as we can get it on paper and bound and in the mail. So that's
all
very
right.
exciting.
Well, that sounds real good, and we're looking forward to it. And man, you just brought us some new ideas. Hey, the chat, we were talking about the toroids a while ago.
Yeah, potato
They're
toroids.
talking about potato toroids. Now, we might try a potato toroid. It's probably going to take a little extra turns. It's probably going to take a big potato, but I think that we can make a potato toroid. I think we can do that.
I bet you could make a smaller one out of a tater tot.
I haven't tried that. And also the potatoes, I understand here, and I didn't realize this, but the potato-powered equipment is good for working Idaho for some reason. Let's see.
Oh, good grief.
Yeah, so that's a good thing there, too. Well, Rich, you were talking about... I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just wondering with potatoes, something to experiment with is whether the component values are different if you're using an Idaho potato, a redskin potato, eastern potato, Yukon Gold. You use the Yukon Golds and you increase your chances of working KL7s.
I tell you what,
exactly.
I think that I can make the transmitter work on one potato. Have you seen the guy on TV that's got the big 18-wheel trailer and has got that potato on it?
Yeah.
I'm seeing if I can.
Missing, we know where it's at.
If I can get that potato brought by here, we're gonna try to see what kind of power it can put out.
Now they said you get more current out of that thing if you bake the potato.
Yeah, they did, and of course I didn't want to go through all that trouble, but yeah.
Hey, Rich,
he got more.
thing.
Yeah, he got more power out of it, more current and voltage with it. Cooked.
Yeah, wasn't this past weekend the WPX sideband contest?
Yes, it was.
Oh dear Lord, the bands were just absolutely packed. I was tinkering with a radio that theoretically had a bad receiver, and I'm sitting here hearing a half a dozen stations working the WPX. And I'm like, this radio shouldn't even be working, and it's hearing these guys. So bands were hot.
That's great. I'm very glad to hear it. I
guys,
unfortunately didn't have time to get on over the weekend, but I'm glad to hear that.
Well, speaking of Russia, everybody knows that Raisa joined our show here, and it's been on about every couple weeks with us. We've been talking with her, and it's best right now that she doesn't really attend the show. They basically have cut off all the YouTube and the Facebook, and they're having real internet problems. So a lot of things are going on, and of course she has to be very careful in anything she says. So we've decided just to not have her on the show for a while. At some point, when things get better, we'll have Raisa back with us. She was in some contest, some Russian contest a couple weeks ago. I forget what the contest was, but everybody was QRMing them. They were whistling and playing music, and they were just jamming the Russian stations. So, I understand what you're saying, Rich. There's people on both sides in ham radio that, I don't know. Let's just hope that the world becomes a better place here soon.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And, I would discourage QRMing.
Yeah.
That's going too far.
Yeah. Well, look, hey, thanks very much for coming on with us and sharing with us the new link there for the CQ magazines and the good news about CQ coming back. And thanks for letting us know what's coming up here. And we may try a potato toroid. May try it. Let's see. There was other comments.
Yeah.
Potato Toroid.
Yeah, my
Sweet
next
potato.
rig is in the garden right now. It's
Sweet potato
starting out
versus white
QRP,
potato.
and it'll be a kilowatt when it's done growing, right?
You know, my son out there, Chris, he says sweet potato versus white potato.
That's another one. Yeah.
I don't think I like sweet potatoes, but that might be one. A Spud Baltic source. Let's see. There's all kinds of stuff going on here about the spuds here. And then here's guy. I don't understand it. I don't eat pineapple. Make a pineapple toroid. They come pre-punched right out of the can. What is that? Because
Oh, they got the hole in the center.
Yeah, the hole in the center. I got you. Yeah, the hole in the center. All right. Well, hey, in that case, we might try a donut. You know,
or a bagel.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, we might try that. And we got Bill joining us here. Let's
You know,
get Bill in
Rich,
here.
that is one thing I've missed since I moved here from South Florida is there's no good bagels anywhere near Memphis.
I'm sure.
Oh man, I don't eat bagels. That's kind of like a
But
donut.
I got to wind toroids on a project I was building this weekend. So yeah, I had my toroid fun.
So a bagel. I don't eat bagels, but that's looks kind of like a donut, doesn't it?
It looks that way, but doesn't taste that way.
It sure don't. I tell you what, that's the reason I don't like them. It don't taste like a donut. That's for sure. All right. Well, hey, thanks, Rich, very much.
Okay.
We had Bill
I'm
join
gonna
us.
run, so I will see you all next month and look forward to talking about.
All right.
May,
Very
so.
good.
Good
All right.
night, everybody.
We'll see you. See you
Take
later.
care, Rich.
All right, guys, we will be back in just a moment. Everybody just stick in here with us. We'll be right back. Didn't get everything. Time to spice up your ham shack with ICOM's new ID52A handheld. This radio is perfect for staying in or venturing out. The ID52A is now shipping. ICOM's newest handheld amateur radio is a VHF-UHF dual bander with D-Star and FM dual mode functions. This radio supports conventional FM communications and D-Star simplex and worldwide calls over the D-Star Internet Gateway. The ID52A is the first handheld amateur radio with a full-color 2.3-inch waterfall display and the ability to send photos over D-Star with a connected Android phone. Features include a wideband receiver with guaranteed range of 144 through 148 and 440 through 450 megahertz. It has an integrated GPS receiver, including grid square location. It also has a micro USB for data transfer, programming, and charging, and it's IPX7 waterproof. Visit www.icomamerica.com/amateur for more information on ICOM radios.
LDG Electronics provides state-of-the-art antenna tuners for every amateur need. From QRP to QRO, fixed stations, portable and remote, an LDG tuner will match your radio to your antenna using our lightning-fast, proprietary tuning algorithms. LDG is a family-owned and operated company dedicated to bringing innovative, quality products to the amateur market. All LDG products carry a full 2-year warranty that is fully transferable. Support is only a phone call or email away. We're always here to help you. Visit us on the web at ldgelectronics.com.
All right, and we're back. And let me take this opportunity again to welcome anybody out there listening on shortwave. 7490 WBCQ out of Monticello, Maine. Would love to hear from you. Send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. This show is about ham radio, amateur radio, so we're glad to have you. Stick around, and we're going to talk about some more interesting things here in just a few minutes. Join our Facebook group. It's called W5KUB. And it follows, we've got 12,000 people in here. It's just a great ham radio group. Just search for W5KUB and please join there. And if you will, please hit the subscribe button. I'll put the little arrow on there just in case you don't know what I'm talking about. Follow the instructions there. Click that little subscribe button that we've got down in the bottom right. Would love to have you subscribe. That helps us to promote our show on YouTube. All right, so we are back here. We've just been joined by Bill Brown, WBAELK. Bill, how you doing tonight?
Man, doing good. Waiting for fun weather tomorrow.
Yeah, you got a little bit of a. It sounds like it sounds like you're modulating a guitar string.
Yeah,
Oh,
your
boy.
bandwidth's chopping out on you.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Using a high speed.
Yeah, we're gonna get you fixed up here one day soon and get you a little bit better. Sometimes it's okay, but every now and then it kind of, gets kind of fades down, poor quality.
It's been flaky lately. I'm going to switch over to the Verizon, so I'll be right back.
All right. Very good. All right. So, one of the things that I talked about here a couple weeks ago was that little buck boost deal that I bought off eBay that can make a neat little variable voltage power supply. Now, I've got a quick little video here I'm gonna run, and we finally put it together. We found a box to put it in, and I'm going to show you how it turned out. It's kind of neat. You may want to make you one. So let me see if I can get that running here, and we'll be back after it, and we'll talk about it for a second. So here we go. I've got a little homebrew supply here I built many years ago. It is, I use it for everything. Variable voltage, I can actually read the voltage on this analog scale here. There's 10 volts right there. You might see it. You can just crank it up to, 10 volts or whatever. I can flip it down. I can also read current from 0 to 1 amp on my meter here. Put me a little external digital meter on here at one point. But I use that for everything. But, I mentioned to you that you can buy anything on eBay, and I found these little buck boost converters. This little buck boost converter will take any input voltage, like 8 volts, 10 volts, 20 volts. And this particular one here will allow you to adjust it from 0.5 volts up to 30 volts. So even if you're putting 15 volts in, you'll get 30 volts out. So I'm thinking, okay, well, I thought about converting a computer power supply, but I really don't have a case to put it in. And when I'm looking at the room, I don't really have room to mount this because there's just not enough room in there. So anyway, hey, I've got a bunch of these. In the past, I've always bought cheap soldering stations off the internet. I don't know why I do it. I guess I'm crazy. Every one of them goes out in about 3 months. They're cheapies, variable temperature, digital readout, the iron hooks here. But it's a nice little box. It's a very nice little box, and it has a transformer in it. The soldering irons are AC, so I decided to build my variable power supply in one of these boxes. So here you can see one opened up. All it basically had in it was the on-off switch right here and a transformer. So that was AC only. I've added a full-way bridge. Here's a full-way bridge I've added, and I've added a filter capacitor here to make it DC. Now this power supply puts out 10 volts and let's see, 10 volts and 24 volts, I think. Yeah, 24 volts and 10 volts. So I'm just going to use the yellow wires, the 10 volt wires with my full-way bridge. Gives me more than 10, 11 or 12 volts. But this is going to be a neat little package here. I took the front cover off. I cut me a hole in it, and the meter is going to mount. The meter will mount right in the front of it, and I'm going to put some banana plugs down here at the bottom, to connect to. And here's the cover. So, hey, it's going to be a pretty neat little box, all self-contained, power switch on it, power cord and everything. That part's well built, but they don't last very long. Like I say, I burnt 3 of these out. And I finally went with a commercial soldering station, which has cost a lot more money, but it's worth it. So anyway, I've got several of these boxes. This is going to be my choice for the power supply. All right, so we've got the little panel mounted in the front plate. Got the banana jacks on it, and you can see it's pretty simple. We'll connect this buck boost to our power supply over there, and we should have a power supply that's doing a good job for us. It'd be good for small projects, and it probably is good for maybe an amp and a half. The buck boost is supposed to be able to handle up to 10 amps, but of course our power supply here is not going to do 10 amps. But it's going to be a pretty neat little power supply, I think, once we finish it. All right, so we've got the front panel on. Pretty neat. Everything's fitting very well. We just tuck our little bridge rectifier down here in the opening. I've got it insulated. We've got our capacitor here. And we've just, I might need to look at this. That looks a little close right there. That looks a little close. That could short out right there. So that toroid is actually hitting, toroid here is actually touching that transformer. I'll probably put a piece of cardboard or something in here to insulate those two so it won't, the edge of that transformer won't rub into the insulation of the toroid there. Let's, I better do that right now. Okay, so I put me some electrical tape right there on the edge of the transformer where this toroid is kind of touching it there to insulate it. I don't think it's going to be any problem. There's not going to be a lot of movement there or anything, and it's well insulated. Let's power this thing on and see what it does. So let's see if I can do this. I'll kind of aim it up here a little bit so you can see it. So you can see we're set at 1.9 volts. We're pulling no current right now. So you can see how accurate the voltage adjustment is. There's 1.99. There's 2.0, 2.01, 2.02. So you can just, you can crank this thing all the way up to, it'll go up to 30 volts now. So this is the buck boost, meaning basically our 12 volt input to it will actually go from 0.5 to 30 volts. Those are a neat little power supply. I got some banana plugs on the front here. So, if I'm working on projects here, like one of the little like the Pico tracker that we use for the balloons, and we need 3 volts, I can come right off here, adjust this for 3 volts. In fact, I can actually turn the voltage down to see how low the tracker would actually operate and see where the tracker stops, transmitting. So it's a cool power supply. It's going to read both. It's going to read both the voltage here and the current here, and it also has other readings, watts and so forth. But we're not going to use those. We're not going to select those. So let me get the cover on it and let's see how this thing looks. So I was having a little trouble getting the cover to go all the way down. It appears that my my capacitor here is a little bit too tall for the cover to go all the way down. So I found a place here we can lay it in here kind of at an angle like this. You can just kind of lay it down in there, which, hey, it fits pretty nicely there anyway. And we will then put the cover on, and it's going to go down really, really well. It's going to look good. and gonna be a nice little bench power supply right there. So you can see it's looks very professional. Variable supply, 0.5 to 30 volts for the bench, and we'll just put that up there on the bench, and we'll have another power supply that we can use. So it's finished, and that's how it looks. I think it looks pretty professional. So you know, we just I save everything. These old power supplies for the soldering irons. Like I said, I have 3 of them that are junk. They make perfect boxes for building projects in. This is going to make a nice little variable bench supply, all self-contained, where the power cord's mounted and everything. They're really, really neat. And let's see, let's just play with it here. So we can play with it and so we can get a voltage here. Let's see. All right. Let's see if I can set a meter up where we can do a little playing with it here. We're going to the banana flex here. All right. Well, the meter itself here is reading 3.37. 3.37, and the fluke is reading 3.68. So, you know, pretty accurate, very accurate. So let's just crank this up a little here. And we'll see where we can go to. Let's put it on like 5 volts. See what we got here. We'll go up to 5 volts. All right, there's reading 5 volts on the little internal supply here. And over on the fluke, we're reading 5.01. So I'd say that's pretty accurate there. Let's just crank it on up real quick. Let's see if we can go up to like, you know, 12 volts or whatever. Now there's a way, I haven't figured out yet, there's a way to press the button and you can select digits here where you can tune it faster. But I haven't quite got that under control yet. Let's just go up to 10 volts and see what the accuracy is at 10 volts. So we're getting there. All right. Very accurate and very small steps. There's 10 volts, and over on the fluke we're reading 10.01. So I'd say it's very very accurate, and it's going to be a nice bench supply. Again, very self-contained. It looks very good, and we'll put it in place up here on a shelf next to the other supply, and we'll try it out and see how it performs for us, and we'll let you know. All right. Well, that was just a little project that we did for the show. Looks like it's going to turn out to be a pretty. This one's a pretty little power supply, actually. Looking forward to using it. All right. Well, Bill, you back with us there? Are you? Do you have a better connection there, Bill?
While we're waiting for Bill, I want to say that is a very nice looking installation. I almost wish I had one of those laying around to modify.
Yeah. You know, I was really.
What iron was that from, Tom?
What iron? You know, that's one of those Chinese. They come under different names, Hakko or something. I don't know. It wasn't on that particular one, but every one of them ended up. I think what happens is the iron itself went bad because there's not much to go bad in the power supply there for it. But you know, so I just thought I'd make me a power supply out of it. And, you know, it's going to be really neat, especially with the trackers. You know, we can crank that voltage down in the hundreds and just see how low we can go. You know, and for it.
Does that board actually have a digital display as part of it? That buck boost board? Yeah.
That little unit snaps in. It's everything. It's got the little encoder wheel, and it is all. You know, it's.
Where did you get that from?
I just just do a search for Buck Boost on eBay, and you'll see hundreds of them out there.
How
Okay.
much did it cost?
I think like $12 or something. It wasn't too much.
No, that, like I say, that looked
yeah.
really nice. I want one.
Yeah, it turned out pretty nice. And my other power supply that I showed you, I use that thing for everything. And even though it's only a 1 amp little power supply, but you know, everything that I test, the wife brings me, whether it be a electric toothbrush or you know, garage door opener or a flashlight or whatever, you know. So, that little variable power supply has just been so handy, man. You know, to set it at 12 volts or, you know, 5 volts, whatever you need, and it has really been a nice power supply. But I thought, well, I'll just throw this one together here. Hey, while we're at it, real quick, let me. I got 2 other short videos here. Guys, we did launch, and we can discuss this in a little while. We launched W5KUB 110 yesterday. 108, if you were following 108, it almost made 2 laps around the world, and it didn't quite finish the second lap. It got as far as Mexico, and that was about it. I think we hit some storms. There were some pretty high clouds, over 45,000 feet in that area, and we just kind of disappeared. So we launched another one today. Again, this is a silver balloon. I'm a little worried about heating. Maybe not. I don't know. We use a little less free lift in it this time. But I was telling Bill, I told you I got the big box in with the 10 new balloons from Japan, and it took 4 days to get them from Japan from the time I ordered till the time they were delivered to my house. I couldn't believe it. Could not believe it, man. And these are the clear ones. So, you know, supposedly we'll be able to run a lot more free lift in these clear ones. Now, I don't know if that makes a big difference or not. Bill, we'll talk about that in just a few minutes. Hey, here's our launch from yesterday morning. We decided yesterday morning was about our only window that we really had for the next week or so. It was supposed to be really cloudy today, and tomorrow we're getting very, very severe storms tomorrow with winds up to 60 miles per hour here. So we had to get that launch off yesterday, and you'll see it was pretty windy out there. I was a little worried it was going to tear the balloon apart. So here's the launch, just about a minute and a half or so. I'll let you see what the launch looked like for W5KUB 110. So here we go. Let me see if I can play it here.
Tom, while you're finding that, I did want to mention that those.
Hey guys, here we're talking.
Never mind.
110. We're fixing to launch 110 here. It's one of the new experimental balloons we're trying out. So hopefully we'll have a good day. A lot of wind. Ready? Let's start filming. That balloon's going to be so low, it's going to yank it across the just let it go anytime you're ready. Bill, that reminds me of the launch we did up in Dayton a couple years ago with Astronaut Wheelock.
That's pretty windy.
Yeah. But after we let it go, it quit. You know, it got. That was a tough launch. The balloon it didn't ruffle up afterward. It didn't have enough lift that the tracker just barely touched the ground when it came out of my hand. So there it goes. We're heading southwest. I guess we're heading toward Austin, Texas, probably right now. We're heading for the Memphis airport.
How much free lift did you use on this particular balloon?
We used 4.8, which I'm a little worried. That's starting to get a little low. That's less than.
It seems to be doing pretty fine so far.
That's less than 10% of the weight.
Right.
So. There it is. It's right above the tree line. All All right, slow lift to it, but it is going up.
You're going to have to get Bill to get you one of those telephoto
I'm
lenses
guessing right
they
now
use
it's
for the
about
rocket.
300 feet. It's not
launches.
well,
Well,
I tell you what, the phone. Watch
400
this.
feet.
Watch your zoom back here. That's a pretty good telephoto right there.
Oh yeah, that's impressive.
is.
But you need to get one of the NASA ones.
Oh yeah,
man.
yeah. That would be cool to do that. All right, so that was our launch. You can see that. Once we turned loose of the balloon, it wasn't flopping around any. It was just basically going with the flow. So it did pretty good there. And Bill, I mean, we reached great float altitude, about 41,000. That's right where the spreadsheet says it's going to fly. So I'm fairly happy with that balloon. It's a really small one, but
Is this the one you got from Etsy?
No, this is the first one we flew, 108 was Etsy. That was the $23. And then I ordered two from Balloons Online, the different name brand, but it appears to be the same. This is one of those 16s. And that's one of the 16s. It looks like the same balloon.
$16.
I'm sorry? Yeah. So it's hard to tell exactly. And then, of course, yesterday, right after the launch, I had 10 clear ones delivered to me right after the launch. So I don't know. I'm anxious to get a clear one in the air to see how that'll work. Hey, Bill, I've got while we're doing it right here, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna show the people. Bill, you inflated one of the 4 Gore balloons, didn't you? Maybe one of the cheaper ones.
I did a clear one, and I did a silver foil one. The clear one is completely over on its side right now, but the foil one is still fully inflated.
Well, here's a video where I actually pressure test. I wanted to make sure it didn't have any holes in it, and I wanted to make sure that we could get it up to above the pressure we needed. So I took this up to, I think, 0.45 psi, which should be well above what we need. And this is the one we flew. We launched yesterday, which this morning it ended up. Hey, we launched an hour late yesterday, and normally when we launch early, we come up west of Bermuda. But when it came up this morning, it was northeast of Bermuda. I mean, it's been moving, man. So tomorrow it's going to be quite a bit on over closer to Africa. This is about a 9-minute, I think. But I want to show you what we did to how this balloon comes packaged, and as you inflate it, you'll see it. It sounds like it's tearing apart. It's popping and coming apart, and you'll see the manometer that we've got where we measure the pressure. And if you watch this video, we made a slight mistake at the beginning. We forgot to. Our manometer is such a small tube and such a small opening. We have to basically use the same tube to put air in and air out to measure. So that means I have to have a cutoff on the manometer, because if I put air in and the manometer's on, the colored liquid it'll shoot out and it'll hit the ceiling. And you'll see I turned it on by accident. So our very first turn on here, we're going to lose all of our fluid in the manometer. So I want you to watch this right here. All right, we've got W5 KUB 110 out. This is a 32-inch. It's a full 32-inch diameter sphere. So it's a 4 Gore balloon. When this thing fills up, you're going to actually see 4 sides or 4 gores that are going to fill up, and then it's going to stretch out to be perfectly round. So we're going to start inflating it in just a minute. We've got our manometer set up and our pressure set up here where we can test. So we want to make sure that we can handle about 0.4 psi. So 0.4 psi is going to be about 11 inches of water column. And the way the manometer reads this, the air pressure from the balloon comes down the tube, and it goes up, and it pushes the colored water down, and it pushes it up. So we need 11 inches. And the way you measure this is you measure how far it goes down and how far it goes up, and you add them together, and that gives you your total water column rise. Now, or you can just double this. And what we've got here is we've got a little tape measure. We can loosen this, and we can move this tape measure up or down. And we've got it pretty much at zero right here. So we're looking to bring this balloon pressure up to about, let's see, 11, probably about 5.5 water column, which equals 11 inches. So we'll see how that goes. So we're going to get back here and put a little air in it very slowly, really slow. And have to turn this valve off, or it'll blow the water out of the manometer. And then I'm going to turn this one on. That's going to allow us to put some air in the balloon. So here we go. I'm going to go real slow, very slow. And I just blew all the water. I turned that on instead of off. The colored water, you can see the colored water came out. It went out the top here. It went out the top and it went across the room here and it hit the balloon. So I'm gonna have to put some more colored water in and readjust things. Okay, we have refilled our manometer with our colored liquid, and we've adjusted the tape measure down to zero here. So we're going to put some air in it very slowly. All right, here we go. Of course, we won't have any pressure yet on our manometer, so we'll have to wait till we get it. Now you'll start to see the four gores. They're going to start expanding here and start separating. If you look down this crease here, you'll see that crease is going to split in a minute. You can see it coming apart. Sounds like it's breaking, but here's the other side is filling out. Don't know if I can get around here or not. Let's see. You can see the four gores starting to show up.
How long did it take you to get the air back out of it, Tom?
Overnight. It's starting to fill up the four gores. Yeah, it took overnight. You can see some of the ridges there. The four gores are starting to fill out. It's turning into a ball now, a spear. And that's what makes this type balloon so much larger than a regular balloon that we've been flying, is that it only has basically two sides, and it fills up kind of like a pancake. So you can see the crease is still, it hadn't separated here yet. More pressure will separate that. And we've got to do that kind of in the warm weather. They're saying that if this thing inflates when it's cold, that this is brittle and it'll damage it. So we need to really inflate this here on the ground. We'll pressure test it, and we'll be able to inflate it to the pressure that we think is safe, and it will expand out. And that way, when we fill it back up later, it won't have to pressurize and separate all the different 4 gore seams. Okay, well, as you can see, it's starting to fill out. And when it fills out, all these wrinkles should go away. This is one of the seams of one of the gores. It's a 4 gore, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sides to this balloon. So it's starting to fill out. You can see it's starting to take a nice round shape to it. And we'll try to get that pressure up. We're only up to about 2 inches of water right now. So let's see. Yeah, we're up to about 2 inches of water. So 2 inches, that's a 0.072 psi right now. So we're going to keep going with it. Well, as you can see, we're already up to a little over 5. There's 5 1/4 inches of water column, which means that's 10.5 inches. And 10.5 inches is going to put us up well over 0.36 psi. So we're gonna go up a little higher. Tell you what, we're gonna let it sit like this for a while. It feels pretty tight, but we're gonna let it sit like this for a little while and let it do its own little stretching there. And we'll come back and we'll put a little bit more pressure in it. And we really don't need to bring it up much more. Just a little bit more, another half inch here, and we will be in a safe range to fly it. All right, we're actually up to 6.5 inches. We're at 6.5 inches right here on our manometer. And we're going to let it sit there for a while. 6.5 inches is quite a bit of pressure. 6.5 is 13. That's about 0.45 psi. So we're gonna let it set like this, let it do its own stretching, and we'll let it fill out for a little while. All right, so the manufacturer says that it needs to be warm to stretch out, and we're going to help it here a little bit with a hairdryer to get some of these wrinkles out. You'll see some of the wrinkles go away if the balloon doesn't move out of the way. I'm going to try here. Well, okay. Almost impossible to hold the balloon here and film and blow it too. Well, we've taken it up to about 6.5. That'd be about 13 inches of water column. 13 inches of water column would be about a 0.45 psi. So it surely can withstand the pressure at altitude. But anyway, it's looking pretty good. So I think we're about ready to fly this one. I've got the tracker being tested, and hopefully within the next 5-6 days we can launch, and we'll see how this one does. All right. Well, so Bill, I noticed that when I had the hairdryer there, some of the sides had a little flat. They were a little flat, but I could put the hairdryer kind of right there on that flat, and that balloon just went perfectly round. It just curved really nice. I didn't take all the wrinkles out there. I didn't want to overdo it, but we got. And
I saw the manufacturer's video. They pumped it up. All the way up till there wasn't any creases at all. So
yeah, I know.
They probably went way over the pressure that you inflated it to.
Yeah,
so
yeah. It scares me to think about doing that, but that's the way they say do it. They say blow it up until all the wrinkles go away. But man,
yeah.
So
well, they certainly are working good with almost. What happened to you? You went down into the tropics there off the coast of Mexico on that second lap, and you're dealing with a lot of increased solar angle, and so the solar heating increased, and that silver balloon, you would think it would reflect sunlight, but it actually absorbs more than a clear balloon would. So you have to back off on how much extra lift, the free lift you put in it, to compensate for that. So that last one, you might have been just a little hot on the free lift because you had to compensate for the silver absorbing heat.
Oh yeah.
And it certainly, you got some incredible altitudes out of it. So that thing was stretched out pretty good.
Yeah, well, I saw 44,000 feet.
No, we exceeded 45.
45.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was just looking at the spreadsheet. That balloon, that diameter, 41 is about where it ought to be, somewhere in that area. And to get 45, it had to stretch quite a bit more, probably a few more inches in diameter, I think, too. I have to look at the sheet again, but yeah, but hey, I was impressed with it still. It really flew really well. All these cheap 36-inch, and this is a 32-inch balloon, guys. We've been flying some of these 36-inch Chinese balloons. And Bill, they'll go up what? Will they get in the low 30s? What's that 36-inch fly at?
Get it with hydrogen, you'll get about 32,000 feet or so, 33. But you're a lot more at risk for hitting storms at that point. We just had a flight to launch from Idaho, KL7BR-11, with one of those pancake foil balloons, and I turned on my balloon magnet here in Alabama and attracted it towards the state, and we managed to get it to cross right across Alabama on its second day, and it was moving right along, so it's off out over the Atlantic, but it's still, it's about 20. That one they were using, I believe they were using the cheaper helium that you get from Walmart, but I'm not sure. But it was about 28,000 feet they were flying. With hydrogen, fly at about 2,000 to 3,000. You'll be about 3,000 feet higher with hydrogen.
Watching that thing inflate, just like the chat room, all I could think of is, man, that thing's like Jiffy Pop.
Yeah.
Expecting to peel that top right off.
Yeah,
it was. Yeah. I remember Jiffy Pop.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where it is tomorrow. It ought to be moving right along across the Atlantic. So.
Yeah, I was impressed with how quick it's been moving. It was 80 miles an hour when I looked at it this afternoon.
Yeah, and we might mention, Tom, that this also has the JT9 transmission on it at the 6-minute and 7-minute marks. And it's 2 JT9 transmissions with a 10-digit grid square. And I was able to copy it during as it flew across Alabama. I was copying JT9. And this one's also got the slow CW as well.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I copied that too.
Well, that's good. I was hearing when it got down, down close to Alabama, I was hearing it here at the house. I could hear the slow CW, but I wasn't copying on Whisper. But I could hear the CW on it. So that was kind of neat. I'm thinking, and it's really hard sometimes, but I'm thinking it should wake up tomorrow morning. It's still going to not quite be to Morocco or to Africa yet. I'm just going to guess we may be 600 miles from Morocco. I don't know. It did over when you add last night and today's daylight travel, it did 2,000 miles today. Very consistently, it was at 125 miles per hour. So it looks like it's in a good jet stream.
You're in a good jet stream.
Yeah.
Well, you're in the upper part of the jet stream at that altitude, but you're still picking up some good speed.
Yeah. All right, let's see. I tell you what we'll do. Let's open the Zoom lines up here if anybody wants to join us, and we'll have you join us.
And while we're doing this, just want to remind everybody that this weekend is the Corinth Ham Fest.
I thought it was last weekend.
No, it's this Saturday and Sunday.
Oh man, I thought I might have missed it. And I still need thinking about getting down there, man.
Oh, I'm all loaded up and ready to go.
Yep.
But it's going to be at the Crossroads Arena there in Corinth, and I'll be doing an Arduino forum at around 11. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And then the week after that, we've got the Memphis Free Fest, of course.
Yeah.
So looking forward to both of those.
All right, well, let's go to the after the show, and let's open up after the show. Everybody, just be aware, Amateur Radio Roundtable is kind of unofficially ended. It's kind of unofficially ended, and we're going into a different show right now. This is called After the Show. We had some complaints last year. People said our show, the 2-hour show, was too long, and it was just really making them mad, you know? And I thought, okay, well, let's just end the show after an hour, and we'll start a new show called After the Show.
Yeah. Bring them on here and let them vent.
Yeah, the reason we have After the Show is we have a 2-hour window on shortwave, which we have to fill every week, and it's just easy for me to fill it this way, to have a 2-hour show. And by the way, you can hear Amateur Radio Roundtable and After the Show on WBCQ on Thursdays on 7490 from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on 7490. Hey, if you're out there listening on shortwave, send us an email to tom@w5kub.com. Also, if you will, hit the subscribe button. We'd love you to hit that subscribe button, and we really need you to do that. That would be great. And also, please join our Facebook group. It's called, just key in W5KUB on Facebook search, and you'll find it. We've got over 12,000 ham radio operators and shortwave listeners in that group here. All right. After the show, we've got John joined us. Well, wait a minute. John. Let me get John in here.
He ain't shaved the beard. Are we sure we're going to let him in?
John, yeah, you still got the beard, man. Unmute your mic, John. Unmute your mic. You're not doing any good. Unmute your mic. Mike.
You can't defend yourself if you don't unmute.
Yeah, John, I can't hear you. You got to talk, John. You got to talk.
Yeah, with the beard, we
I'm
can't.
There. I just couldn't. I kept clicking and nothing happened.
All right, man. I don't know how long. Hey. You know, COVID is really, for all purposes, we're pretty much getting back to normal here. We're getting back to normal life here as we used to know it. Now, I don't know if I can continue letting you in the show looking like that, man. I know that's your COVID. Grooming, whatever you call it, but at some point, man, you told me you're going to take all that off.
It's getting close. Is
it? Yeah, but you know what? If you kept it on at least through December, you could be Santa Claus.
I had it this past December. This Santa gig isn't all it's cracked up to be.
It's not? It's not? Okay. Well, I thought maybe you might can make a few bucks, looking like that, because you do look like Kris Kringle there.
Thank you. Well, see, I made all the parents mad because the kids had asked for something, and I'd say, "Oh, you need a new DMR radio," or "Oh, wouldn't you like to have a pony?" And the parents are just ready to shoot me.
Yeah. Okay. All right, man. Well, hey, keep it as long as you want to. You're really not hurting anybody. So that'd be cool there.
Well, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Hey, just real quick, man. I know you have your Tuesday night net there, and our show interferes with your Tuesday night net. How did your net go tonight?
The net went real good. We've got some repeater problems. I think it's some descents into the getting into the repeater because our duplexer needs to be retuned. But anyway, that we've got I appointed a committee. We got a committee of people looking at it, and they're working with the Motorola shop. So they're going to retune our duplexer, and I'll let you know. But we had about 20 or 23 check in tonight. So we had a big night, but I'll let you talk to some of the other folks. I just appreciate you having me.
Well, all right, man. Well, hey, we appreciate it. You know what? I just feel honored that you're on here with us. Guys, I went to college over where John is there in Russellville, Arkansas, at Arkansas Tech. But, gee, I'm thinking, man, it's been...
Garrett was new back then.
It's been close to 50 years, I guess. 1966, I think, was my first year over there. Y'all do the math. Anyway, woo, it might be more than 50. I don't know.
I don't have enough fingers.
I don't either, man. But I went to school over there. You know, I went to college over there. I was over there for 3 years. And you know, I want to get back over there. I've been telling John I was going to drive back over. I want to go to... There's this restaurant there that I used to eat at every Sunday, and I want to go back and just see everything and see how it's grown. I know I won't recognize the college now because it probably has grown 100 times. In fact, John, you're still there, right, John? Now, yeah. I'm sure probably half the buildings that were there when I was there are probably been torn down. Like there was one here called Old Main. That thing must have been 100 years old when I was there.
Old Main is still there.
Is that right?
Wilson Hall, where the band and the ROTC was, that burned down.
Oh, man.
And then, they built a new athletic building, Hull building. Yes, but the Tech has some of the most prettiest buildings that you'll see on a college campus. So when you come back, you're really going to enjoy seeing some of the ones. And our state representative, Doc L.L. Bryan, really did good in appropriating and fighting hard to get money to build some better buildings and to upgrade Tech. So he went above and beyond the call, and they've got the new Corley building, which is the computer science building. They've got computer labs. Every desk has a computer and a workstation. They've really upgraded Tech tremendously from when you and I was there and Turner Hall and where they had the accounting and stuff. That's all been way upgraded.
All right, now help me out here. My mind is Turner was a dorm, wasn't it? No.
Oh well, yeah. Well,
Payne. Okay, help me out here. I was in two different dorms. I was in Payne, and they built a new one. When I say new, it's 50 years ago. They built a new one. Maybe the new one was Payne. It was they're side by side. What was the other one? Payne and.
Payne was two buildings side by side.
Yeah.
That's where you had the KRUD.
That's
station.
where I had radio station KRUD crud out the window there. And I can't remember the name of the other dorm. It was just it wasn't an H, but it was just a single one, and it was back to the west, and they built Payne Hall, the H building. I don't know if that was north or if that was east. That was north. So it'd be the next building to the south.
Yes, let's see.
Turner, was it Turner Hall?
There was Turner Hall, and then just to the east of Turner was where all the mathematics and the accounting and the computer science classes were.
All right. Well, it was Turner Hall. I was in Turner Hall, and I moved to Payne Hall. Now, let me ask you a question. Are those co-ed now? Do they have both men and women in those?
Some of them are. Some of the buildings, one of the girls' dorms have been converted into something else. You know, they had Caraway.
Yeah.
That when we were there.
Well, you know,
Caraway Hall.
Yeah. I was in the newest dorm there, and in fact, I've kept up with my roommate from there 50 years ago. He's already finished a tour in the Air Force, and he's retired. Of course, we're all getting old, but he came by here this year, and we talked about things, and he reminded me of a few things we did, and I was in a very modern, the new dorm there, and we, these rooms had this air conditioner system. It was under the window. And it had a blower, and it was always blowing, always blowing. We didn't have thermostats. You just had a knob on there. You could turn it on, low, medium, high, whatever. And I don't know how we got away with it, but I took a thermostat in there. And I think a relay, and we tore that thing apart. And we put our own thermostat on that air conditioner in there, where it would cycle on and off, while we were sleeping, set the thermostat where we want it, and I'm just wondering if that thermostat is still in that room after all these years, man.
Oh, that would be something to go do. That would be get somebody to take a secure, one of the resident assistants to take you into that room and see if it's still there.
Well, when we go over there, I may try to go in. I don't know if they'll let me in to see any of the rooms or not, but I know right where my room was in both the dorms, so that'd be interesting. But I don't know how we got away with wiring thermostats into our air conditioning system here. I don't know how we got past that, but they never said anything about it, man.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah.
I had a spring break. I had a little job between sessions replacing the air filters in those dorm air conditioning units, the one that were right next to the window. You had to take 3 screws out, remove the metal plate, and then you pull out the air filter and put it in. Well, I opened one, and this gigantic green lizard popped out of it. Somebody had a pet iguana in their room, and I'll tell you what, that woke me right up.
Well, Bill, I don't remember recalling any kind of filter in this system. Now, this system is not one that had, on the outside wall where it had the evaporator or whatever on the outside. Evidently, they must have been tied back in somehow to some big unit somewhere, roof or something. There was nothing on the outside. A lot of these air conditioners, like motels and stuff, when they put one under the window, it vents outside or whatever. But this one didn't. I don't know.
Now, we did a project. The engineers were on the 7th floor, and the football guys were down on the 6th floor, and they would jam chairs in the elevator so it would never come up to our floor. And we were not happy about that. And they made sure that all the elevators stopped at their floor so they could get to class soon, and we had to go down the stairs 7 flights. So we went up in the attic and we reprogrammed the Otis elevator logic so that it never stopped on the 6th floor and always stopped at default on our floor.
Oh, man.
And this worked great for a few weeks, but they called out several engineers from Otis. They couldn't figure out what we had done. It took them weeks to fix it.
Well, we didn't have elevators. I think our dorm was only 3 stories. We don't have the big tall stuff like a lot of people have, But John mentioned our radio station. Hey, the nice thing about my room was right outside hey, back then we didn't have telephones in the rooms. You didn't have TVs in the rooms. You didn't have telephones in the rooms. But right outside our door on the wall was the pay phone for that end of the hallway. And we put our radio station on KRUD, a long wire out the window, 2nd floor window out to a telephone pole, and we had a neat little radio station on, and people would actually call that phone for a request. Now, I don't think we had that many different records and stuff to play, and again, we played records back then, guys. Oh, man. Well, who else we got in? What was it?
We had a TV in the middle of each hallway near the elevators. We had a little lobby area.
Yeah.
We had just one TV with rabbit ears. And I wanted to watch Star Trek, and the girls on the dorm wanted to watch Dark Shadows and all the soap operas. So I had to find a floor that was unoccupied. So I decided to come up with a little circuit, and I think they were on channel 2, so I built up a little variable tune oscillator that would go across 55 megahertz. And so I'd sit there with this little device in my hand, and I'd twist it until there was a nice interference pattern on the TV. And the girl would get up, and she would grab the antenna ears and have one foot off the ground, and then I'd let up on the button on the thing. And then and after a while, they got tired of that. They'd go up to the other floor, and then I could watch Star Trek.
Yeah, what is this the girl would do? We didn't have girls in our dorm. I mean, you know.
It was a co-ed dorm.
Oh, was it?
That was in California. See, they didn't have them in Ohio State, but
we didn't have them either.
Santa Barbara, we did.
Yeah, we didn't have them either. You know, it's funny how you do all those. I don't guess they're stupid. They're just weird things. I mean, you know, you jam the TV, you put a little radio station on. Hey, we had a Coke machine there down in the lobby, and it dropped a cup, you know, and you hit the button, it'd drop a cup, and it would fill up with Coke or whatever. And somebody showed me one time how to get a free Coke out of there. You could actually stick your hand up in that thing back there, and there's a little switch up in there. If you knew right where it was, you could flip that and take your hand out, and it would drop a cup, and it would fill the cup up with Coke. So I thought that was kind of neat right there.
The way we did it in high school, Tom, we put mercury on a silver dime, and it would slide right through the Coke machine, and you get your Coke. But that's when a Coke cost 10 cents.
Yeah, well, I didn't think about that. I thought maybe y'all might have tied a string on the dime and pulled it back out, you know. Oh, man. All right, who else we got in here? Let's see, we got Anthony in there. We got John in there. Glenn, is that all? Let's see, we got more people in here.
We got Charlie.
Yeah, Charlie's in there.
Don?
Yes?
I thought you were going to tell me you guys rigged the machine to dispense beer instead of soda.
For what? For beer? No, we didn't do that. In fact, Anthony, I don't drink anything stronger than pop. Of course, pop would drink almost anything. That's a joke, is it? Nobody's laughing? Okay. No, I'm not a drinker. I never drink there anyway. Now, hey, you want to talk about drinking, boy? When I went in the Air Force overseas, that was the meal for most people. Several cases in the room there, you know, and having the parties there. But I took care of all of them. I was a designated driver, and I took care of them. Oh, let's see. Charlie, you got your camera tonight. How you doing, Charlie?
There we go. Unmuted. Hello.
Yeah.
How are
hey,
you?
Man. You're looking good tonight. You got some flowers back there. You got a nice shirt on.
Yeah.
Where are you? You at home?
Sorry?
Are you at home?
At home, yeah.
Yeah, looking good.
Maybe the only angle that it's okay to show on the camera.
Yeah, huh? You're looking good there, man.
Like you see that cartoon that goes around viral when the COVID started and you had to do work from home, and you have this guy sitting doing some Zoom working from his house, and it has everything very tidy.
Oh, yeah,
and from the computer to that side, everything is like a mess, you know. So something similar here. Well, I was listening to all the things you were talking about. You did when you were studying, and you know that I listened to those things, and I wish my kids did things do things like that nowadays. They have everything like served, you know, so they don't even come up with anything. You know, it's. I used to, when I was a kid, I used to go into my dad's workshop and do stuff and try to do things, and well, it's getting. It's not easy to get kids nowadays to get interested in those things. So I don't know. Maybe because of everything, it's getting so easy to get, you know. like for example, the power supply we were showing today.
Yeah.
I mean, I have 1,000 projects like that, and you know, I everything it stopped working. So I keep everything, so I keep all the parts and everything because someday I will need it.
Yep.
But then I end up, like it costs so little that it's easier to get something that is working than.
Well, that's true. Stuff is getting so cheap out there. The electronic stuff is cheap.
I remember when I was a kid that my dad, I remember he built, let me think the order, but I think he built the welding machine to do the frame, to build the table saw so that he could cut the wood to build the ladder. And it was like incredible. He did all that, so that he could build a ladder that you go to the supermarket and buy a ladder.
Yeah. Oh man, hey, we got Papa Doc. That's Don, W-A-4-Y-Y-M. He's a doctor. He used to join us on video here after the show, but we asked him so many medical questions. I think he stopped tuning in on that. But he's in a chat room. We call him Papa Doc. That's the dictator of I think the dictator of Haiti is called Papa Doc. So we call Don, W-A-4-Y-Y-M, we call him Papa Doc. Maybe that's what his grandkids call him. But he was talking about when he was in school. Now, you get into criminal activity here, Doc. He put a M80 down the toilet, and it blew the toilet off the floor. Yeah, so I don't know, man. That's pretty bad, And, I don't, I guess I can't talk about too many criminal things I did.
Is it past the statute of limitations?
I don't know.
Most of those
I've got a few stories that I
safe,
can tell.
yeah.
Okay. Well, hey, here's a story. We went out one night and we collected road signs and had them up in a room. And I tell you what, next morning, our house mom, they told us we couldn't keep those road signs. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I told you, I think on a previous show, I told you about they put me in charge of inventory of the chemistry storeroom at Ohio State. And that was a big mistake because I saw this big vial of said sodium metal. And it was a pound. It's kind of in an oil, so it doesn't get exposed to the air. But, you take a little tiny sliver of that stuff and put it in water and it just flame and everything. So it was labeled 1947, and I figured they wouldn't miss it. So I said sodium metal 0, and I took it out of the storeroom. And we went down to the Olentangy River near the Ohio State Stadium, and I got my friends from the dormitory out there and said, "You aren't going to believe this." And I threw a pound of sodium metal into the river. And it was about the size of a baseball. And it just bubbled and frothed. Nothing happened. And so we started walking back up the riverbank, and all of a sudden there was this huge explosion, and it knocked us to the ground. And we turned around, and there was a flaming column of water and flame shooting 30 or 40 feet up in the air, and the whole river was on fire. It was just spectacular. And we scooted out of there before the security and the police arrived, but they actually sent the fire department out to try and put the river out.
Hey, I probably did something even more dangerous. Man, we went out in the woods in the country there, and it was like an old barracks. It must have been Corps of Engineers. I found a round canister, metal canister, 6 inches tall, a couple inches in diameter. Didn't know what it was. Had some kind of lid on it. It wouldn't open. Took it back to the barracks, and took it back to the room. I'm on the floor. I think that particular floor was a tile floor. Yeah, I remember. So I lay that sucker on the floor, and I take a hammer, and I'm going to bust it open. And I bust that thing open, and the end comes off of it, and it was full of gunpowder. And then we took it after that. I'm shaking right now thinking about that. We took it after that up out Skyline Drive at John's, where we took it. And we took a flash cube. Kind of busted it, stuck it down in there, and ran some wire, from that flash cube. And we touched the car battery, and we exploded it up there on Skyline Drive. But man, right now I get queasy thinking about busting that thing open with a hammer. I really do.
Was it a landmine?
No, it was just it was some kind of round, solid metal canister. And the top was like pressed on. It wouldn't come off. It wouldn't come off for nothing. And I was beating that sucker with a hammer, and it either came off or it cracked open. And I guess there was no sparks. Well, I can tell you right now, there were no sparks, but I had no idea what was in that sucker. Man.
Do you remember the movie October Sky, which is based on the movie, the book Rocket Boys, that Homer Hickam, he works out here at NASA. And anyways, he wrote the book Rocket Boys, and when they made the movie, October Sky is an anagram of Rocket Boys. Just so you know. So there was one scene there where they're making their first rocket motor, and they've got their rocket out in the backyard, and it blows up, and they're knocked on their back, and their mother comes out and says, "I told you not to blow yourself up." Well, back in the day, I had these little Estes rocket engines that you could buy, and I'd spent several months making this beautiful rocket and painted it and decorated it, and I was, I said, I can make my own rocket engine, so cheaper than I can buy it with my allowance money. So I made up this flash powder of rocket fuel, pounded it into the cartridge with a hammer and a bolt. No wonder I'm still here. And I lit that thing with a little piece of dynamite fuse, and that thing blew up like an M80. It was about the force of an M80. Just my beautiful rocket just disintegrated into little pieces of balsa wood and cardboard fluttering down from the sky. And my mom came running out and said, "I told you." It's just like in the movie.
Yeah. Well, Bill, I was just thinking, I had
nowadays, if I was a kid nowadays, they probably would haul me away.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really think about this too much lately. But, we're flying balloons the last couple of years, 3 years, but 50 years ago, we did a balloon. We were doing several balloons there at college. We could go out there, and we could go in a chemistry lab at night. It wasn't locked. We'd go in there and, I guess, do your experiments. But we took these big clothes bags, taped them together, made a big old cigar-looking thing, and we'd fill them up with natural gas from the Bunsen burner. And of course, natural gas is pretty heavy. It's got a little bit of lift to it, so we'd send them off out there, and they'd kind of go up really slow, But I had a friend at the FAA, a ham friend at the FAA. He was going to call Little Rock and tell them to watch for this. We were going to launch this balloon and for them to see if they could see it on radar. So we were filling up this 20-foot-long balloon with natural gas in the chemistry lab, and we're going to take it out the door. And next thing I know, we get a call from the Dean of Men, and we got called into the Dean of Men's office, and he wasn't very nice. He called me by my last name. He said, "Medlin, what are you guys doing? You can't send up, 50 cubic feet of natural gas in a balloon." The FAA, I guess, had contacted them and told them, what was going on. So we got busted.
Jeez.
Somebody's asked me if it was black powder or regular gunpowder. I don't know the difference. I want to say it was probably black powder. I don't know if one sets off by a spark easier than the other. I have no idea. I don't know why it would be black powder. It was in an olive drab canister, military color canister. Like the government purchased it or something. But so I don't know what type it was, but it definitely did explode when we flash the cube in it. All right. Anybody else got any stories here? Charlie?
I remember
Charlie?
the sodium story made me remember when I was in high school, and there was this chemistry teacher. It was her. She was really young. It was her first year, and I remember that she was going to show us the effect of sodium in the water, and she got the sodium on the little kerosene liquid so it doesn't oxidize, and she took a little bit like that on a little wooden dish and started cutting it, and then she put a little bowl of water and she said, take a look. And I remember it was incredible because nowadays you use huge goggles and everything and safe distance and everything, and I remember it was like everybody was like that on top of a little bowl.
Oh boy.
And she started putting a little piece, and it did it burned, and everybody was again and a little more, and then again, and a guy started saying, students started saying, come on, put it all, and everybody started, put it all. And she put it all like that, and it started, boom, like that. Boy. And we were like,
right over it, huh?
Away. And it was water everywhere. The dish flew up to the roof and came back. Nobody got hurted, but what was the first thing she said? Please don't tell the head of the department. She didn't ask, are you okay? I'm very sorry. Please don't tell the head of the department. It was really funny.
Oh, boy.
But incredible.
Oh. All right.
Well, you can tell it's the end of the show. Demon Child has come up.
Oh, really? All right.
And down she went.
Well, again, I need to try to get down to Corinth this weekend for the Ham Fest down here. I guess I need to. I'm just lazy. I'm just lazy, man. That's an hour and a half drive down there.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be raining though.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I'm like you. I just want to get out. I'm gonna go to a Ham Fest. I've got a table or two, so I'm gonna try to sell some of my stuff and just sit back and relax and have fun.
And what have you got to sell? Maybe we can
sell it right here.
The table.
Yeah, maybe we can do it right here.
Yeah, it's a lot of odds and ends. Primarily, just a boatload of IP phones.
Oh, really?
Good old Grandstream IP phones. I have.
What's the brand on them? You got any Cisco IP phones?
No, these are Grandstreams.
Oh, okay.
So that's EXP. For the Asterisk open source stuff.
Yeah. And that's actually what they were used on, was an Asterisk system that I put together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've got a couple boxes of them.
Those for the office.
And it's like, don't need them anymore. Time to go.
Configure those for Ham Shack Hotline, and you can sell them for $50 or $60 a piece.
You come get them and configure them yourself, and I'll give them to you for $5 a piece.
I have other projects, but
I do
about
too.
The Ham Shack Hotline people are clamoring for all the SIP phones.
That's what these are. I mean, everybody's seen them at the Ham Fest before, and they're like, nah. But they can be configured for Ham Fest Hotline for, nothing. They're network capable and everything, so. But they're good phones. I used them for quite a while. But like I say, I'm cleaning out the house, trying to make room for new radios and get a little bit extra money for new radios. So I've got a little bit of everything. But the phones are the big thing. I've got a couple laser printers, a couple really nice HP laser printers that are almost brand new.
Have you still got that projector?
Nope. Projector got sold in
St. Louis.
St. Louis.
All right, man.
Yeah, so don't have projector no more. And but laser printers, I've got 3 laser printers I'm bringing. So just cleaning house, trying to make some room. 5-bedroom house. I live alone and I have no place to put anything.
Now let's talk a minute.
Picture?
Let's talk a minute about the Corinth Hamfest down here. They feed you slug burgers.
Yes, sir.
You can get a slug burger down there, and there's this famous right there in Corinth. There's this famous drugstore. It's also like a soda fountain or whatever in there. And they invented the slug burger, I think, back, I don't know, whenever it was, back in the...
It's back during the Depression because what they were doing was they were mixing the beef with breading.
Wasn't it like soy meal or something?
Something like that, yeah. Just to, make it last longer.
Well, they got me, they brought us, last time I was there, they brought us all slug burgers, and I did taste it. I didn't think it was that great of tasting a hamburger. Actually, it wasn't a hamburger, it was a slug burger. But I did try it.
Yeah. And, but this time they've moved to the Crossroads Arena, so they've gone up big time.
So they're not where they were last, they moved?
No, this is at the Crossroads Arena, which is, right next to the Auto Museum over there.
Crossroads. If I get there, I go the wrong place.
Bye, people.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Charlie. Yeah, it's, you'll see it. I mean, if you take 72 and then cut down on 45, you'll see it right there on the right at your exit.
Okay, then on 45, and it's on the right side of the road, right? How far after you get off 72?
Oh gosh, it's right there, just off of.
I mean, within
72.
a mile. Within a mile.
It's probably about 3 miles south on 72.
All right.
And you'll see it there on the right, but I can't remember the exact exit name.
Okay.
Harper Road possibly, but it's right there in downtown, Corinth. But you can't miss it. You'll see it on the right there.
Yeah. That drugstore I was talking about, that little cafe drugstore, it's got 1 million Civil War relics in it. If you ever get down to Corinth, go in there. They're famous for the slug burger, and they've got so many Civil War relics that they've collected and have inside.
Well, they've got they got one of the battlefields just there. One of the battlefield museums there near that same exit.
Yeah,
can't remember the name.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, we're about to run into our time limit on our radio program here. This is Amateur Radio Roundtable. It's a show about ham radio. We're here every Tuesday, live on W5KUB.com. Join us at 9 p.m. Eastern Time, W5KUB on Tuesdays. And you're listening out there in WBCQ. Thanks for tuning in. All right, guys. Well, we had an interesting night here. Bill, where do you think the balloon will be tomorrow? We won't be at Africa, will we?
No, probably not, but be pretty well across the way. Maybe the Canary Islands. I haven't run a prediction, but
yeah, I think we'll be a few hundred miles out at least. So that is if we're still flying. So I got these clear ones in the day we launched the silver one. Man, maybe I need to get another ready. And
I still haven't been able to order them. They won't accept any of my credit cards or PayPal.
Well, they've got a online contact here. You need to contact them and say, what's wrong. And I did that, and they fixed it. They fixed it and said, we fixed the problem. You can enter now. And I went right on and I did it.
Now this
I've had that issue.
Is this a chat person or an email?
It was one of those form mails. I think they got a form on there that you fill out.
Oh.
And just say, hey, I'm trying to order, but it won't take this, it won't take that. I told them when I tried to order, it would only let you order if you were in Japan.
Yeah,
Japan. Yeah. So they fixed that. They fixed
number.
that. Yeah.
You had to put a suite number or an apartment number, or won't let you continue.
Yeah, I saw that, but I didn't have to do that. In fact, I may, I think for the suite number, my address is 3060 in my street. I think I just put this 3060 in there for the suite number. You could do that. You could put your call letter in there for the company name. But you got to get past the ordering and the credit card thing.
You were able to put a credit card number in, and they took it, or PayPal.
Yeah, I did a PayPal. Well,
some of those places on PayPal rejects them or locks them out, and then the credit card company locks them out too, and they have to come up with a different business name or contact for you to actually send them the money.
These people have website problems. There's no doubt about it.
Oh.
All right.
Well, I'll try ordering again. But,
just get on there.
I tried 2 days in a row, several times. And
unless you tell them it isn't going to get fixed unless you tell them. So just send them that note, tell them what's wrong, and they'll respond back to you and say it's fixed. Thank you. And
wow.
Yep.
Yeah, they probably had to reboot the laptop that was running the back end for the payment system.
Yeah, might have.
No, they rebooted the Arduino that was running their website.
Yeah.
Or the Raspberry Pi.
Oh, let me tell you something. I found something interesting now that we're off the air. I wasn't going to mention it on the air tonight.
Well, we're still on it. Well, we're still webcasting. We're not on shortwave.
Yeah, that's all right.
Okay.
I've been doing some research on the Raspberry Pi Pico and found out that there is now an Arduino port of the code. And the way the Pi works is you can actually upload a different, call it operating system, but a different image onto the flash. It comes with Python, but you can flash it for C and C++ and Circuit Python instead of MicroPython, and somebody has an Arduino that is Arduino compatible, so it worked right with the Arduino IDE. You burn that image on it, boom, and it will now have access to all of the Arduino code and libraries and everything.
This is a Raspberry Pi Pico?
Yes, with 2 meg of flash, 264 K of memory, and 133 meg dual Cortex M0 Plus processors.
Interesting.
Or dual core M0 Plus processors. And I took a look at that and I'm like, this has possibilities. Because now you can put the Arduino code on it. Now you've got the Arduino libraries and everything. So I can literally take all of my projects and port them over to the Pico. And I already have 2 Picos sitting on the desk here.
So they have, the IDE can handle the M0 processor?
The IDE now with the later versions, they actually have board definitions that you can download from the internet. And from the various manufacturers like Adafruit and their Feather line and SparkFun and all of those. And somebody has written an image for the Pi or the Pico that you load to it. And it's a real easy load. It's like you hold the reset button down and it goes into the bootloader that will let you pull down the image off of USB.
All right, guys, I'm fixing to get out of here in just a second. Bill, you saw an email of the people that wanting to do a balloon. I sent them to you. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I get all kind every day. I get that. Which group was that?
It was a lady, and they were on a show here a while back, and I think the male that was on the show was a Silent Key. He recently died. It's some club or something at your school.
Oh yeah, okay, I did see
and
that.
I sent them to you. I'm not saying you got to be a rocket scientist to do this, but it ain't easy for somebody to just jump in and make your own and fly it. If you want to save some money and make it work, get one from Bill. I think that's the way to do it. All right, guys. I'm going to go. See you later. Good night, everybody.
See you next week. See you at the
73,
Ham
everybody.
Fest, Tom.
All right. We'll see.
You're going to the Ham Fest, Tom?
Oh man, I'm
trying to talk him into it.
I want to, but I hate the hour and a half drive.
Corinth is the halfway point between Memphis and Huntsville.
Yep.
Yeah. I want to, but I just don't want to do the drive. So it's an hour and a half, but hey, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. I'm going.
We'll see. All right.
What time does that start?
Doors open at 9.
9 o'clock on Saturday.
And on Saturday, and they're supposed to have Sunday too, but I don't know.
What's the name of the Ham Fest? Just Corinth Ham Fest?
April Fool Ham Fest.
Oh. Very cool.
It's put on by the Corinth Aries group.
All right.
They've got a flyer on the web.
Hey, it's April Fool Ham Fest. So when you get there, if you don't see the doors open,
April Fools.
Yeah.
Is it a pretty good sizable Ham Fest?
No, this is their second year.
I'm gonna try to guess. What do you think, Glenn? Maybe 20 tables, 25 tables?
That was at that small area, yes. Maybe. This year, with them being at the arena, that's a full-blown convention center. They hold concerts and stuff there. So, who knows?
Yeah.
It's the same. My only concern is the same weekend as the Mississippi QSO party. So you're going to have the people that work the QSO party not going to be there.
Yeah.
And I had to make a choice. Do I work the QSO party or do I go there? And this year I'm going there. Next year I'll do the QSO party, unless they change weekends. But
hey, Tom, before you sign off, are you going? You're going to be at Dayton, but you're not going to have a booth, right?
No, I'm gonna have I'll be in the same booth. We typically had that booth and a half. If you remember, one was kind of a half depth thing. They gave that away to somebody else this year, but I'm in still the same spot, 2408.
Okay. I thought you were mentioning that you were going to roam around more.
I am, but we wanted a place that we're going to put our banners up and stuff, and we wanted a place where we could put an ice chest under there so we can, have 75-cent drinks instead of $5 drinks, and that kind of stuff. Water. We'll have water. We'll have drinks. We'll have snacks under the table. We'll have a place to sit down, especially if it's raining. We can, come into our booth there. And
so for 75 cents, I can get a Coca-Cola from you, all right?
You probably can. You might even be able to get a free one if you're there.
Hey, if you have time,
the
balloons. I'm holding the balloon sat forum on Friday, somewhere around noontime. I think it's 11:45 to 12:45.
Yeah.
I would love to have you give about a 20-minute talk or 25-minute talk on your balloon adventures.
I can do that. I'd be glad to do that. And particularly since we're not going to be doing a lot. When we do the live webcast, we don't have a single minute free, even for lunch. We're so busy. But this time I've decided that we're going to be free. We're going to walk around outside. We're going to go everywhere. We'll film some video to show on the show when we get back, but we're not going to do anything live there this year. So
you're going to be free range.
It's going to be free this year. So I'll be glad to attend that and whatever, if I can do anything to help you.
I'll put you down on the agenda and I'll let you know the time. But it'll be Friday, somewhere around noon.
Okay. All right.
And it's typically out in the tent.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if they've got me in the tent this year or not. I mean, it's been so long; it's such a distant memory.
I know. Yeah, they're putting something together for me too, doing meet the author and stuff at the ARRL booth, but I don't have any times or anything.
And we're gonna, if the weather is reasonable, I'm gonna do a launch and probably with the new balloon with an APRS tracker. So
very cool.
Okay.
So you can help with that, Tom, if
you
want.
Sure, I'll be glad to help you.
Or film it. That would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll have
Bill,
it
I
on.
sent you a link to that Ham Fest
Okay, cool.
in your email.
All right.
Send it to me. Send it to me also, because I may end up the wrong place. All right, guys. Good night to everybody. It's getting late. Got to go. I got to edit this tonight to get it on the shortwave for tomorrow or whatever, and I got to get me some popcorn. And
let's see. Does it go to your Gmail or your w5kub.com?
Either.
Okay.
If Gmail's WA5KUB at Gmail, they require 6 characters up front, or you can send it to Tom at W5KUB.
All right. No problem.
Yes. All right. You can even send it.
Were you ever a WA5KUB?
Yeah, I was. I was a WN5KUB in '64 and upgraded to, when you upgrade to general, they changed the N to an A. So I was WA5.
I was WN8ELK, and when I switched over, we were in the Bs then. So.
Yeah. So I was WA5.
I was WN4FTX, and I got WA.
Yeah. So I finally, after years, just dropped to A. I was doing a lot of satellite work, and it was just a little easier. When you say WA, sometimes people don't know if you're saying WA or WA, we just dropped it, made it shorter.
Well, that's why I went to the KW5GP, because if you've ever done WA4FTX and CW, you get writer's cramp.
Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. Right. Good night. In chat room, hey, thanks, everybody, for sticking with us tonight. I see Doc is still in there. Doc, I can't believe you're hanging in there, Doc.
I think he left a little while ago.
Did he leave? I thought I saw Doc's name here.
Yeah, he was just a few minutes, but then he left.
Okay. All right.
Is my audio and video okay? I'm on my Verizon.
Yeah.
Yes, it's much better.
It's done really well, man. Your
the
picture's
DSL
good.
Is getting really crappy here, so
yeah, it did
I'm
really.
Gonna have to
did real well.
With it from now on.
All right. See y'all. Bye. Cross your fingers. Maybe 110 will show up tomorrow.
Oh yeah.
See.
Bye.
Right. Good night, everybody.
Take care, Tom. God bless you.